What it do? We back with another bracket, another episode of the BJ Pod. I'm Brandon.
I'm Jason, and we're coming to you pre-recorded from the lovely Sonoma County, California. Today we've got a real doozy for you, a special one. The Led Zeppelin Bracket is on the table.
All right, so we've given you the best songwriter of all time. We've given you the best hip hop artist of all time. And now it's time to give you the best band of all time. And that's not up for debate, might I add. There's no question there.
There's a few.
Shut the fuck up.
There's a little bit of debate there, but
No, I mean, this one's cool for me. Led Zeppelin was a big part of my introduction into rock and roll from childhood, and also, developing my own music taste and realizing that they're the one band from my childhood that's actually badass.
yeah. And for myself, I was introduced to Led Zeppelin a little later in life, maybe early high school. And beforehand, I thought, oh, yeah, like, that's just a poster that my uncle has in his house. That's cool. Probably overrated. But I was converted slowly but surely. So now I'd consider myself not the biggest Zeppelin fan, but I do like and appreciate a lot of what they've put out there. So
It's a conversation for another day, but I think the strongest discography in rock and roll. So many great albums. 6 great ones, couple not so great ones, but even the not so great ones have a couple songs pulling a lot of weight. So we'll get into it there. We talked about beforehand, but the live performance being such a big part of what made Zeppelin what they are as a band, that'll factor in a little bit as far as certain songs that kicked extra ass live. That's gonna play a little bit. So that'll be part of the discussion here. Other than that, I don't think there's much more introductions to know.
y'all know how this works
You know
by
what's
now.
going on. So we'll kick it off in the fucking... Dude, can we fucking start over? No, it's all good. All right. We're gonna go ahead and get to it in the first quadrant, upper left, with Stairway to Heaven, one that not many have heard of, coming up against T for One off of Presence.
Mm-hmm. So here we've got Led Zeppelin's most underrated, poor performing, unknown track versus one of the few coming off of Presence. Yeah. And I think this is a pretty easy one. It would probably destroy all of our credibility if we said that Stairway to Heaven was a first round exit. So, not too much to say there. It's the sprawling epic, the iconic intro. And T for One's not bad, though.
Yeah, T for One's a good track. I don't listen to Presence as much as, their bigger albums, but T for One's a solid track off it, a long one, long, hard blues. That's what Zeppelin does. But T for One's solid. Stairway to Heaven's going to move on, though.
Yeah, emphasis on long and hard. That's
why did I just move on T for One?
Very foolish.
It really wants to move on. But, we can talk about Stairway more later. Next matchup will be Hey Hey What Can I Do up against Misty Mountain Hop. I really like Misty Mountain Hop. It's got that killer line. Why don't you take a good look at yourself and describe what you see? And baby, do you like it?
That is a really quality line. That's iconic Robert Plant.
Hey Hey What Can I Do is kind of one of those like classic rock station bangers, though. I think it was an outtake from the Zeppelin 3 sessions that ended up on Coda.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong there. I think it was like a B-side or or an outtake from the Zeppelin 3 sessions. But really good, like kind of pop rock, classic rock jam. I think it takes it here.
I would agree. Misty Mountain Hop, it's got some of that it's like Landslide by Fleetwood Mac, cuz they're looking at fucking mountains or some bullshit. But now Hey What Can I Do's got the iconic yeah, nah, yeah, nah. So
It's gonna be a lot of that today, boys.
yeah, we're sorry if you're listening through headphones, but at least we're putting it out there. There will be some jump scares maybe, but hopefully knowing about them ahead of time, they won't be as jarring.
Not so scary. On to the next matchup here. It'll be Thank You up against Bring It On Home. Bring It On Home, the closer to Zeppelin 2, up against Thank You, which is, it is an important song. I think, I believe that was the first song that Robert Plant wrote all the lyrics for himself. And I remember Jimmy Page being impressed, and he felt like that was a moment where he was like, oh, okay, all right, I don't have to worry so much about Robert. So I think that was a proving ground moment for Robert Plant. It's a very sweet song. I know somebody who picked that as their wedding song, some old head. But they got divorced, so it's not that good. And to me, Bring It On Home is just a fucking banger. Awesome closer.
Yeah, I would agree. Thank You. It's heartfelt. It's a soft Zeppelin song. It's a real romantic ballad, I suppose. Yeah, but the thing about both of these songs is that on their album Train Does Zeppelin 2, Train covers both of these songs, so I'm gonna have to knock a couple points off of both of these for that reason alone.
Dude, when's the Train bracket?
That's coming out next, actually. I think Hey Soul Sister's gonna do pretty well though. Maybe drops a J, drops a Jupiter. That's it's a powerful one. But yeah, I got no problem with Bring It On Home making it to the next round. That is a certified hood classic banger.
Bring It On Home. Okay, next matchup we got Sick Again up against Good Times, Bad Times. Good Times, Bad Times, the opener off of Zeppelin 1. And being that Led Zeppelin 1 did not have any singles, they just came out and dropped the album with the knowledge that radio stations would play the entire album, and they did. So that's the big dick of Jimmy Page at work, which is pretty fucking badass. But Good Times, Bad Times being the opener off of their first album means that this was the first taste many people got, people who are actually fucking alive, got of Led Zeppelin. And to me, Good Times, Bad Times is one of their better and more concise, like straight to the point, just bangers that they ever made, and a great mission statement from the band, and definitely better than Sick Again, which to me is kind of in that crop of tracks off Physical Graffiti that could be identified as bloat.
Yeah. So we got the opener to Zeppelin 1 versus the closer to Physical Graffiti, and I would say Good Times, Bad Times is obviously the better, more relatable track. Although, who hasn't gone through some good times and some bad times? I've had my share, certainly. Although Sick Again, when we really get down to it, you're almost 16? Relatable? Questionable? We'll let you be the judge.
Yeah, I don't know about all that. It definitely does. Once you know it's in there, certain lines like that really they don't sneak past you anymore. Once you catch it, the first time, you're like, oh, that's all I'm hearing now.
It's yeah, tough out for Sick Again.
I think we will just push through good times, bad times, and not talk about the 16-year-olds for the rest of this bracket.
For the rest of...
Stop. There might be a little more in the first round. Hopefully we get them all out of here. Okay, so moving down, we have 10 Years Gone up against That's the Way. I'll start by talking about That's the Way. One of the great acoustic tracks off of Zeppelin 3. Zeppelin 3, I think, gets overlooked a lot. Really strong album, in the same tier as their best work, I would say. But, I understand why it gets left out of those conversations. But That's the Way is a beautiful song. It comes right after Tangerine. Or is it right before? I think it's right after Tangerine. But, yeah, really great song. It was in Almost Famous, that movie that may or may not be inspired by Led Zeppelin's touring career. But either way, I'm going to let Jason talk about 10 Years Gone, which is probably gonna knock That's the Way out here.
Yeah, I think it definitely shines a little brighter than That's the Way. 10 Years Gone, dude, it's about the eagle, man. The eagle has 10 lives. The eagle has to preen its feathers, leave the nest. It's
Every 10 years I gotta break my beak and come back and fuck 16-year-olds.
Sharpen my talons. Yeah, the thing about 10 Years Gone that's badass is he's talking about 10-year-old girls, which
That's not true.
That's not true, but yeah, great track. Opens up well with kind of the mellow intro from Jimmy, some strong, unwasted vocals from Robert Plant, which is sometimes a theme in Zeppelin songs, and just a super cathartic and well done layering of that guitar riff throughout. So I think 10 Years Gone, super strong contender in this bracket, moves on handedly.
Yeah, I'll say 10 Years Gone, to me, has always I've always thought of it as kind of a similar formula to Stairway to Heaven. Mm-hmm. Like it does have the acoustic style intro and then this kind of building of momentum. Yeah, beautiful track. One of, if not the highlight off of Physical Graffiti.
Yeah, I'd agree.
So that'll move on. Rest in peace. That's the Way. It's all good though. Yeah, there's going to be some tough first round exits. That's the nature of the game, but that's not one I'm upset about at all.
No.
Next up, we have Nobody's Fault But Mine up against Trampled Underfoot. This one, I think Nobody's Fault But Mine is one that I forget about because it's on Presence. But really great song. I think encapsulates that mid-70s kind of sound more than just the late 60s, early 70s transition that Zeppelin came out of with the, heavy psychedelic blues. Nobody's Fault But Mine really feels a little more like that proggy hard rock kind of thing. I really like it. I think it's cool. They did that thing well. They were able to, touch all these different styles and do all of them pretty much as well as possible, and that's what makes them such a special band to me. Trampled Underfoot has some cool organ or piano or whatever, but
yeah, Trampled Underfoot. It's it's groovy. It's groovy. It's cool. I don't think it's that special. Talking about love. Talking about. It's fine. It's fine. I don't think it's as good as a lot of people seem to think it is. It's kind of a banger, but
I was shocked to see that that's like the third most streamed on Physical Graffiti. I just think there's much better songs off of that. But
yeah, I think
people want to talk about love.
Yeah, talk about love. It's Robbie Boy, he talks a lot about love.
Talks a lot about squeezing my lemon, dude.
We'll get more to that later. But Nobody's Fault But Mine. I think good song. Quality contender. I think it should beat Trampled Underfoot. Although I do think there's a little bit of vocal masturbation coming from Plant on this one. He could stop talking if he
It's
wanted
like
to.
it comes with the territory, man, because he does stuff like that, and sometimes it makes you think like, who does this fucking guy think he is? But then there's moments where he's like, oh yeah, that's who the fuck he is. So sometimes he's got to go.
You miss all the shots you don't take. So
Next
he's
up,
got to go for it. Swing for the fences. I understand.
Next up, it'll be Immigrant Song up against Gallows Pole, a couple of tracks off of Zeppelin 3. Yeah, Into the Land of the Ice and Snow. Really great song, really cool. It was used in Thor, so now it's it has made its stamp in this generation.
Very Nordic.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Immigrant Song is one that doesn't need to be broken down too much. It's fucking awesome. The fucking stomping bass line, chugging, rather. And, this whole thing about, I think it's basically about the Danes invading England.
Yeah. I guess that's kind of Norse, right? Norse mythology, Vikings.
Which
fucking badass.
is pretty fucking badass. I'm reading a book series about that right now. The Saxon, based on the Saxon Chronicles. Yeah. Shout out to the Last Kingdom.
You can go watch Vinland Saga. That's a pretty good fucking Viking show.
Vinland Saga.
Yeah.
Gallows Pole is good though. I like the intro especially. I think it's one of those that to me doesn't go anywhere quite as much as I'd like it to, but I really like the acoustic guitar, and it just it is not their strongest, so it's gonna go bye here, but it is a nice little song.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree. Immigrant Song deserves to go to the next round.
This next matchup is All My Love versus Heartbreaker. Man, I tried really hard to like All My Love because I know Robert Plant wrote it about his like dead kid or something.
Yeah.
And it's like a really, really heartfelt song. It just doesn't move me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I actually didn't know that it was about his dead kid. So that does change things a little bit, but not enough to get it out of the first round. All My Love is a little... Now I don't want to rip on it, but it's a little sappy. It's a little plotting. I don't know.
Yeah, it does
kinda
feel a little less sappy thinking about a child instead of like just some woman.
Yeah, I always thought it was one of his floozies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Heartbreaker though, who can't relate? Why you call me another Ryan's name when I'm trying to make love to you?
Yeah, that reminds me of yeah, all right, I'm not gonna go there. But yes, very relatable. Very relatable.
Great guitars, just a hard rockin' banger.
Yeah, one of my personal favorites off of 2. Definitely stands out as, a big moment in the Zeppelin catalog. So, Heartbreaker moves on.
Let's go for that.
Yes.
Next, we got A Whole Lot of Love up against Wonton Song.
The Wonton Song is cool. It's one of those songs that isn't necessarily a skip, but there's much better stuff on Physical Graffiti and much better songs such as Whole Lot of Love that you could listen to. Whole Lot of Love, I remember being on a ton of mushrooms and just like, I think you put on Zeppelin 2 and I was like, oh, this is really fucked up. but it's like burned into my head. So, whole lot of love. It holds a special place in one of the folds of my brain.
Yeah, I think I always thought of it as one of the just like, you know, radio song, like classic rock radio Zeppelin songs, but really now, like looking back in the as a rock and roll historian, that middle section before the guitar solo is actually really weird and adventurous.
Some
And
good
this,
moaning.
this was like before the whole progressive rock thing, so having just like a minute long ambient weird like weird tape effects and shit going on. It was it was a bold move, and I think it actually adds to the song in my opinion now. But and then that fucking guitar just comes out. It feels like the guitar is coming out of like a black hole. And yeah, it's pretty awesome. Super well recorded, decent performance from Robert, I guess, but really just a crushing song. Anyways, next.
Yeah.
The Lemon Song up against Going to California, their ode to Joni Mitchell.
Yeah, this is a tough one on paper, but it's really not that tough. Joni, good woman, love that woman, hated Bob Dylan, but we forgive her for that one. Going to California, I think, should certainly take it. The Lemon Song is a quality cut. I guess it's kind of, it's like a cover of Killing Floor, right? Sort of. Or whatever. I don't know.
Kind of stolen.
Yeah, kind of stolen.
Semi-stolen.
Yeah, a nice blues rock stolen piece for our Brit boys over here. But going to California, a change of pace from the typical Zeppelin style. Just a very pretty tune.
Yeah, another one of those that just shows their versatility. One of their better softer acoustic tracks, I think, that they ever made. One of my favorite tracks off Zeppelin 4. And knowing that it was inspired by the Golden Girl herself, Joni Mitchell, is, it's nice because I have a lot of respect for Joni. And so sometimes when I'm listening to this song and I get to think about her and, if I were the Led Zeppelin boys and I was around and I knew Joni was over there doing something in California, I might get a plane ticket myself. Who knows?
Might even kiss a sunset pig. Who knows? But yeah, good track. Reminds me of when I went to California.
When you were born.
Yeah, and then when I returned, the prodigal son.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. The rock and roll. It's been a long time.
Been a long time since I rock and roll.
Up against Custard Pie, the opener of Physical Graffiti. For me, this is it's rock and roll.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I think about Physical Graffiti, I think that the Rover should just be the opener. And sometimes when I listen to it, I actually just start there. Not because Custard Pie is bad, but it's just like, it's a non-essential worker.
Got laid off during COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah, rock and roll is rock and roll. When an artist names a song rock and roll, you know that they're bringing something reasonably special to the table. Is it better than the Velvet Underground's rock and roll? Now that's a debate for another day. But in this bracket, Led Zeppelin's rock and roll is some real rock and roll. So
we're gonna say goodbye to a piece of that custard pie.
Yeah, I like custard. But
this is one of the cleanest sweeps I think we'll see in this bracket. Jamaica, or Dire Maker, or Dire Maker, but really it's supposed to be Jamaica. Yo, she had sex with you? Jamaica?
Horrible.
Up against Since I've Been Loving You. Probably, well, no spoilers, but really strong track off Zeppelin 3. Really Zeppelin doing what they do best, which is these long, extended, heavy blues, you know, the building of momentum, the wicked guitar solos, just riffs out the ass from Jimmy Page. But also I like the change in dynamics that's happening constantly on this song. It'll start to build and then it'll soften back up to that boom, boom. You know, it's just awesome.
Yeah, it really takes you through the ups and downs of loving you. So, and Jamaica is kind of not a throwaway, but
It kind of sucks.
it's kind of a throwaway compared to the super stacked front half, right? I guess they're mostly on the front half of houses, right? Like, who cares about this song?
Yeah, it's the middle. It's the middle section of houses that gets a little trash. I think we're gonna get to another one.
Yeah, I guess the ocean closes and no quarter is second to last.
So
right?
it's like the 4, 5, 6 is kind of iffy on that album.
Yeah.
Dire Maker though, for real, that is like we've talked about red flags for fan bases before. Mm-hmm. Jamaica is a red flag. If somebody cites that as anything, like if they mention that song at all in a conversation about Led Zeppelin, it's a red flag, and they're a classic rock Radiohead, and they're not to be talked to.
No,
unless
fake fans.
The only way you can reference that is if you're talking about, you know, the low points on Houses of the Holy. That's the only time it should be brought up.
Yeah.
Or if you like want to open up a dialogue about how to pronounce the fucking title, then that's kind of lame too. But
yeah, you know, people need to know though. You know,
anyway,
it's worth a Wikipedia search once or twice in your life, maybe. But
get it out of here.
Yeah, not Since I've Been Loving You.
So this next one's another clean sweep. We have Achilles' Last Stand, the standout off of Presence, up against Livin' Lovin' Maid, the misogynist anthem off
She's just a woman.
Off of Zeppelin 2. Fun fact, I believe Livin' Lovin' is one of the only songs that was never performed live, and I'm pretty sure Jimmy Page hated the song. So if you need any more reason than that as to why it's getting booted in the first round, then I don't know.
If you do need another reason, though, it's because it's dumb and stupid. Like, it's not a very good song. It's just about some fucking floozy woman. Fucking, she's living, loving. She's a woman. Whatever. Like, who cares?
It's really like, it's benefited only by the fact that it's a short track. It's got an exciting riff. So the riff can kind of carry you through 2.5 minutes without it detracting from the album experience. But I mean, fuck, you're never going to be like, oh, you know what I need to hear right now? Living, loving, she's just a woman. I mean, it's the most forgettable and unnecessary track off Zeppelin 2.
It is a big nothing burger.
Yeah. And so I'm happy to see it go. You know, if you're gonna do a song about maids, then you should listen to Man Needs a Maid off of Neil Young's Harvest. It's a better song, slightly less misogynistic, maybe even moderately less misogynistic.
That's ambitious.
Anyways, the next matchup is going to be Your Time Is Gonna Come up against Houses of the Holy. Your Time Is Gonna Come, to me, is one of the most overlooked off of their debut. I like it a lot. Between the organ work from John Paul Jones and, to me, in the hook section, the drum fills from Bonham, super tasteful, super well recorded, and just sound great. It's lovely to me. I love it. Houses of the Holy is an interesting one because that's not on Houses of the Holy for some reason. I think they chose
Massive fumble.
They chose to put Dancing Days in its place, is I believe how that went down. And then Houses of the Holy ended up on physical graffiti. I guess.
Massive fumble.
Yeah, I mean, stupid. Houses of the Holy is better than Dancing Days, but that is not the matchup in front of it right here. So, what do you think, Jay?
Yeah, prior to hopping on the mics, I was saying, I think it might be Houses that takes this matchup. But after listening to him again, I do think Your Time Is Gonna Come is, it's gonna come. That's what more do I have to say? Houses of the Holy is like, it's a fine rock and roll tune. But Your Time Is Gonna Come. It intros with that, enveloping organ, and yeah, it's a little more cathartic. I think it's a more interesting song. I understand why Houses of the Holy didn't make Houses of the Holy, but yeah, it's not that strong of a contender.
Get it out of here.
Yeah. Get it out of here. I'm gonna come.
I'm gonna come. In Your Time of Dying, up against Friends. So Friends, to me, is a nice little acoustic track from Zeppelin 3. Jimmy Page said he wrote it with a full orchestral string section in mind, and I believe it was at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction that he was able to see that song performed actually with an orchestral string section. So that's kind of a cool piece of lore. In My Time of Dying is this long, like 11 and a half minute or something, drawn out, heavy blues. Again, that's what Zeppelin does. And
It's a pseudo cover, right?
yeah, I don't know.
I think In My Time of Dying, it's like, I mean, they certainly put their own spin on it the way that Zeppelin does with tracks like, When the Levee Breaks or whatever. But I think it is kind of a...
Does pseudo cover just mean theft?
No, not quite theft, but yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of a blues standard.
Yeah.
So, I would probably give it to In My Time of Dying over Friends. Although
I could go with that.
I did hear that Jimmy Page wrote Friends after he spent some time at the preschool.
Oh no.
He was hanging out at a local preschool, and he thought about, wow, I really like these people.
Yeah, I'm cool with In My Time of Dying. I will say, well, we can touch back on it later.
Mm-hmm. It's
fucking hell.
Oh, whatever. All right, and then our next matchup, we got a real sleeper, Boogie with Stew, versus Dazed and Confused.
Dude, I've been dazed and confused for so long. It's not true. Dude, it's kind of fucked the way he says, I wanted a woman, never bargained for you. Mm-hmm. Kind of degrading, and almost makes it seem like whoever he's talking to, he views as subhuman.
Yeah, that's badass, man. I love viewing people as less than human. So yeah, but I mean, Boogie with Stu is just good vibes, man. Boogie with Stu. I knew a guy named Stu. You know a guy named Stu.
I do.
And
we've all known a guy named Stu.
Yeah, and I boogied with that guy once. He likes the oldies.
He does.
But,
he would.
Yes. He also loves Trump.
I do think, really the highlight of Dazed and Confused here is the guitar work. And this is the one where in the live show, Jimmy would bust out the bow, and that was a move. Say what you want about the bow, but it is a powerful statement to wield a bow.
It's
Dazed and Confused has to win, though, right?
Yeah, easily. Easily. Boogie with Stu is cool, fun. I listen to it sometimes as a standalone track because it just kind of it scratches a certain itch, but Dazed and Confused is certainly a more important song for Led Zeppelin.
I do think it's worth noting a lot of people sensationalize the theft and paint Led Zeppelin as these horrible monsters stealing blues music and
Stealing V cards.
making it accessible to white trends. But Dazed and Confused is a stolen song, I think. I don't think that's really up for debate. I think they settled in court and gave the original writer some credit, but not even really fairly. But either way, stolen song, still better than Boogie with Stu.
Yeah.
It doesn't make it not good, all right? It just means it's not their song, really.
Yeah.
But they probably played it better than the other guy could, so there's that.
You know, Zeppelin, they, all these bands, they steal stuff. Whatever.
I just want to say, let's put it out there. That one was stolen, and I don't want to hear anything else about it for the rest of the bracket, okay? I conceded Dazed and Confused, all right?
Okay.
Couple bangers off Zeppelin 4 to kick off this upper right quadrant here. We have When the Levee Breaks up against Four Sticks. Just briefly say, Four Sticks was recorded with 4 drumsticks. That's how it got its namesake. If you just shift your focus to the drum part, it does sound pretty badass. But it's still not as badass as the drum part on When the Levee Breaks.
Yeah, When the Levee Breaks, strong contender. I mean, this is our 3 seed, I think, on this bracket. Yeah, really good cover, technically. But yeah, the novelty of Four Sticks. I don't know. I mean, it's a good song. It's a little harsh saying that the Four Sticks thing is a novelty, because it's just a drumming technique, man. But not as interesting of a song as When the Levee Breaks.
No, and even the drums, I mean, it just goes to show. Really, this is a good example of why drummers use 2 drumsticks. Because the drum part on When the Levee Breaks is way better, sounds way bigger, and fucking slaps the hair off your dick and balls. So if that doesn't move you, I don't know what will. Take the fucking extra sticks, put them away, and work on your fucking technique, drummers. How about that?
Yeah. Amen.
Next up, we have Out on the Tiles up against What Is and What Should Never Be. So we were talking about this. Out on the Tiles is one of these sleepers off Zeppelin 3 that is actually pretty fucking solid. Zeppelin 3 gets categorized as their like folky or soft rock album or whatever. But Out on the Tiles is straight up, I mean, classic Zeppelin style shit, and it's a good one. What Is and What Should Never Be knocks it out of the park, though. I think it's a really great display of that soft, hard... Dude, I'll show you soft to hard. But, the quiet verse and then the dynamic change and the high intensity, high volume chorus section.
Yeah, I think you said this to me earlier this week, but it's the first Nirvana song.
Yeah. Nirvana took that template and ran with it. Except they just used power chords.
Yeah, you could also say it was the first Pixies song, I suppose.
Dude.
Surfer Rosa Girl.
Dude, do not talk about Surfer Rosa Girl. You want to talk about soft to hard transitions. Do not bring her up.
Maybe that's why they put her on there, because it's kind of like a double entendre for the style of music.
Yeah.
Yeah. It gets
I think Francis was just like, dude, you're hot. Would you get naked for a photo shoot?
Yes.
I bet it wasn't that deep. I bet it was just like, damn, dude, we could fucking tits.
Yeah.
But
soft tits.
Anyways, let's just go to the next one. Communication Breakdown, proto-punk banger up against In the Evening, which is one of these, I wouldn't say it's forgotten because I think a lot of people recognize it as, one of the quality tracks off of In Through the Outdoor, but kind of gets lost in the sauce because of the whole, In Through the Outdoor is just not one of their go-to albums. So either way, I'll just say about Communication Breakdown, it really is like, 7 years ahead of the punk rock wave and really follows the template of a classic punk rock song. It's nice to just hear Jimmy Page ripping out some eighth notes on power chords, but yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Jay?
I think it's a pretty solid matchup. In the Evening is good. Definitely one of the more forgotten Zeppelin tracks, especially considering I forgot it until, doing a little bit of research, getting back into the Zeppelin swing. I think Communication Breakdown should probably take it, though. It's kind of iconic. Zeppelin 1. More people know it. It's more valuable in their discography. Although In the Evening does rip.
Yeah, it does rip.
Yeah.
It's one of the, yeah, I mean, if you're like us and you don't, they're not like us, but if you are like us and you also forget about In Through the Outdoor sometimes, I will say you can get some value out of it if you just don't listen to the whole album, or if you want to listen to most of it, just remove Hot Dog from it. Because there are some good tracks. We'll talk about some of them, but In the Evening, Carousel Umbra, Fool in the Rain, some good moments. But we're going to give it to Communication Breakdown.
Yeah.
The more essential Zeppelin track, I think.
Mm-hmm. And next up, we have a matchup between Moby Dick and No Quarter.
Dude.
And Moby Dick, like we mentioned with Four Sticks, I think Moby Dick is really one of those instances of it was cool for a little while, but the novelty kind of wears off. Like when you first hear, oh, Bonham played this drum solo with his hands, it's like, what? I remember one of our mutual friends told me that, and he thought it was like the coolest shit ever, and I was like, yeah, that is pretty cool. But it's no quarter.
Yeah, we'll also say, as far as the drum performance on Moby Dick, the fills that come when the riff comes back in after the drum solo
Are better.
The fills are better than the drum solo for sure, and that's the highlight of the drum track. But No Quarter's better. No Quarter's fucking awesome. I have a little bit of beef with the album version of No Quarter, just because particularly hearing the live performance that's on the Song Remains the Same, I think that it could have benefited from a little less of the production that was going on there. I don't think it really did it for me, particularly the vocals sounding like they're underwater and the guitars being a little subdued with the fuzz. But as a song, it's gonna clear Moby Dick easily.
Yeah, I agree.
Couple softies over here. We got Over the Hills and Far Away up against Down by the Seaside. Over the Hills and Far Away is the song that, like, there's going to be some fucking idiot loser with an acoustic guitar that just walks around your high school and plays that song. If you go to a regular
school.
High school anyways, yeah that's going to be something that happens. And if you're anything like me, it'll seriously deteriorate the aura of that song.
Aura Merchant with the acoustic guitar. That's fair. I would still say it's the better track, though. Over the Hills and Far Away. It just, it feels nice, man. Down by the Seaside, though. That one also feels nice.
Yeah,
I like boats, man.
I like Down by the Seaside as a nice moment on Physical Graffiti. One of my, sleeper picks off of that album. Mm-hmm. It's always been a standout to me. It's another one where it's Zeppelin kind of trying something different. It's not their typical bag, but some of the like I don't know if it's phase or whatever, but the effects on the guitars where it's kind of warbly. I like that. But we can just give it to Over the Hills and fuck off.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, if we didn't give it to Boogie with Stew, we can't give it to Down by the Seaside.
Down by the Seaside clears Boogie with Stew, brother.
Dude.
All right, this next one.
You didn't have the relationship with Stu that I did.
You're probably right, but I did go to his house and play War once.
He read me his oh no. Well, his brother read me his Lord of the Rings Game of Thrones fan fiction once.
Is it sexual?
Mildly.
Fuck.
It was pretty badass.
It's disgusting.
I felt the same way.
Okay. You Shook Me up against Tangerine. This is the worst song off Zeppelin 1, in my opinion. And Tangerine's pretty good. So that's my Cliff Notes version here. Now, You Shook Me, I'll just say, like, they used a reverse tape echo, which was pretty progressive at the time. But it doesn't do anything for me now as a modern music listener. I don't really care.
It's incredibly unremarkable and inoffensive.
Yeah, there's some good performances from John Paul Jones on the keys, but Tangerine's just a better song. Tangerine, living reflection of a dream. I was her lord, or she was my lord. I don't know. Ask yourself these questions. But
she was my queen.
Tangerine is one of their sweeter, he doesn't say that she's 15, so she may or may not be 15 or 16, but
that's a plus.
It's a sweet love song. Nice acoustic guitar work from Jimmy Page. Better song than You Shook Me.
Mm-hmm. I mean, how hard is it? Evidently, it's not that hard, but like, how hard is it to just like not make one of the defining characteristics of the woman you're talking about her teenage youth?
Yeah.
It shouldn't be that bad.
Yeah. It's not that hard to just not mention it.
Yeah. I mean, talk about her personality or like her feudal status.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Does her father own land?
Yeah. You don't have to talk about her being 14 as like, one of her defining characteristics.
It was obviously on his mind, though, man.
I don't blame him. Have you talked to a 14-year-old recently?
It'd be hard to look past.
It is. But anyway, next up we got a big time banger off of Houses of the Holy. We got The Ocean versus Celebration Day off of Zeppelin 3.
Yeah. So Celebration Day, another one of these good hard rock songs on Zeppelin 3, kind of gets, doesn't get its due, but that's one they would play live. It's fun live, whatever. The Ocean fucking clears it. I mean, The Ocean is so good. It's one of my favorite, just like riffs. One of the defining characteristics of Zeppelin is every song has a riff, or five, but yeah, I mean, it's awesome. I've tried to play this song with my drummer. The timing of it is super weird. It's actually a fucked up song. Like it's an impressive musical feat. And one of these moments where Robert Plant's moaning does service to the song.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, great vocal performance from Robbie Plant.
I remember one time at the end when he goes, "Oh, it's so good." I was like, "It is." Good. He reaffirmed the way I was feeling about the instrumentation in that outro. I was like, it is so good. He's right.
Yeah. And, does talk about a 3-year-old girl in this one, but the context is different. Yeah. So, we give him the pass.
She can't be a love interest, dude.
Yeah, she's not this one's a little bit about love. It's about, being rock stars, singing to the ocean. And it's a great image for a song. So
fat banger.
Yeah. It's a very meta. It's a very meta tune from Led Zeppelin.
Oh, and the fucking bass work in the outro, John Paul Jones, "Make Me Wet."
Like the ocean.
Yeah, hey, that's where it all came from.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, Bronjar Stomp up against Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You.
Baby, 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 baby.
I apologize.
Yeah, we might have to compress that.
Yeah, that's getting compressed. I like Bronjar Stomp. And I don't actually really have a stance on this matchup. I think Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You is one that gets a little more hype than I would give it. But as like the heavy strumming of the acoustic guitar and like really this kind of what would you call it? Like heavy metal prototype nature of it, where it's like it was, right when metal was on the cusp of becoming its own genre. But Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You, a very metal song, and I think does get some aura points for being ahead of the curve, but also one of those songs where Robert Plant just annoys the fuck out of me.
Yeah, vocal masturbation for sure, but I mean this one's actually pretty tough. I do like the stomp. It's better than without the stomp.
Yeah.
I would be okay with either, really.
Well,
I
this
don't think either of these make it out of the second round.
No, neither of them are gonna go anywhere. I think this can be a good one to just say. This can be a good one to make a statement and take Bronjar Stomp.
Yeah. Yeah,
I think
that's a good call.
it's a nicer track. I like it a lot. I know my mom really was partial to Bronjar Stomp, and that's a song that I specifically remember hearing in the minivan a lot in my youth. So, add Led Zeppelin 3 to your CD collection if you're pregnant or if your lady's pregnant, load it up in the minivan. Bronjar Stomp is a great song to take your kid to soccer practice to. It's good vibes, it's good memories, all right? All right.
Yeah, and Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You is a little more negative,
Yeah, it's sketch.
It's sad, man. You don't want to. When I listen to that
scary.
song, I think of Robert leaving me, and it feels bad, man.
Yeah.
It really does.
And then when he starts fucking wailing on the vocals, you're like, fine, leave then. Go.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, we got a real. We're cooking up something good on this next one. We got Black Dog, one of the big ones off of Zeppelin 4, versus In the Light off of Physical Graffiti.
Yeah, Black Dog is pretty fucking gay. Yeah, there's a kid I don't care about much who cites that as his favorite Zeppelin song, the Eggo Waffle. So, I think I'll just put that out there.
The Eggo Waffle. I for a second I didn't know who you were talking about. But
Yeah,
then
dude.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
But I've heard that the riff's like pretty fucked up to play. I haven't attempted it on guitar because I don't have the balls. But I'm just gonna say I really like In the Light. It's one of my favorites off of Physical Graffiti. I just think it's nice. It's very nice, uplifting lyrics. In the Light. Mm-hmm. Dude, find God and you can live to see another day. That's what I'll say about that.
Yeah. I like In the Light over Black Dog as well. Black Dog, it really doesn't matter to me that the riff is hard to play because it's hard to listen to. It's really what was the point of that song? I don't know. Some people love the song, and I get that. A lot of people love the song, and we're probably gonna get a lot of shit for.
Imagine being a hater, dude.
Listen, man. I think people like Black Dog, man. But no, terrible song. If you like Black Dog, if Black Dog is your favorite Zeppelin song, you really need to get something checked out in your head. Or just tell us, like, what actually is that appealing about this song? Because it's not very appealing.
What if we did a semifinals real quick? If the semifinals, we took the intro tracks off 1 through 4. Good Times, Bad Times, Whole Lot of Love, Black Dog, and Immigrant Song. Black Dog loses all those
Yeah.
easily, actually.
Yeah, I would say
And
so.
then you end up with Good Times, Bad Times, and the Immigrant Song. But next up, we got Fool in the Rain versus the Battle of Evermore. This one to me is another super easy one. I love Fool in the Rain. I think it's awesome. It's my favorite track off In Through the Outdoor. And really fucking awesome drum work from John Bonham on this one.
Mm-hmm.
And some pretty sweet lyrics and, singing from Robert Plant. But really the drums kind of carry this one for me, and I think it's A1.
Yeah, I agree. The Battle of Evermore is cool, but like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I like fucking Lord of the Rings, but sometimes I'm like, do I really need to? Is this what I'm getting turned to right now? Like Lord of the Rings? No, but Battle of Evermore is good. No shade. Fool in the Rain is just a little more interesting, musically, I guess. The lyrics on Evermore definitely, they capture my attention. Yeah, I guess Fool in the Rain takes it.
And there we have it. The song remains the same up against I Can't Quit You, Babe. So I have to put you down. I Can't Quit You is another one of these, in the grand scheme of things, I would say relatively boring, extended blues things. Yeah, I don't need it. I mean, if you made it 3 minutes shorter, I would be like, okay, that's fine. But yeah, it is what it is. It's good, but the song remains the same. Really, is a great little opener, high energy, high intensity, fun to watch him or listen to him play live. The guitar work, just like rhythmically, is fucking bonkers. And the multitude of guitar parts and the way that they all interweave, I love it. Mm-hmm. I love it.
Yeah, I agree. Song remains the same. Should take it. I Can't Quit You, Babe. Just whatever. Very basic blues. Just inoffensive.
If you're putting that song on a playlist, it better be the fucking nap time playlist.
Yeah, play it at a preschool. That's what Jimmy Page intended anyway.
Dude, that's on the playlist at the place I get massages.
Oh, oh, yeah. All right.
Okay, we got Bronyar Without the Stomp up against Rain Song. Honestly, it doesn't matter which Bronyar you put up against Rain Song.
Rain Song is a killer, man. Rain Song is a killer. It's one of my personal favorite Zeppelin tracks. I think it starts out soft and really builds well. Robert Plant does a great job. The lyrics are quality. I felt the coolness of a winter. I never thought it could ever go.
Yeah, sometimes I forget about that climactic ending, but
yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I just think of the softer part at the beginning, which is already so beautiful, and like off the first 5 minutes alone, it's already a great, soft Zeppelin track. But then you just throw in that build at the end and really just a release of semen at the end.
A little rain must fall, and you're like, oh shit, dude, it's the Rain Song.
But yeah, this is one of those songs that makes the Houses of the Holy a special album. Like I would say it's a little more hit or miss than than the first four, or at least 1, 2, and 4, if you're going to be a hater on 3. But really high highs And the Rain song is one of those highs, and
Yes.
it has to move on.
Yes.
It
Rain
must.
song. Let's go for that.
Let's go for that. Okay. Next up, we have Ramble On, which is, according to Robert Plant, it's about me. It's about you. It's about the other guy.
Versus Black Mountain Side.
Yeah, Black
Yeah.
Mountain Slide is stolen, I believe, as well. So we'll
Hell
just
yeah.
put that out there. Ramble On is actually really lit. This is another one of those kind of classic rock radio joints. But for sure, it actually did, watching the Becoming Led Zeppelin documentary, it was kind of cute watching Robert Plant talk about writing this song. And I didn't know that Robert Plant spent a few years homeless before joining Led Zeppelin. So when you think about it as kind of this rambling hippie anthem, and then you add in the fucking part where Robert Plant's a homeless guy who just goes to marijuana legalization protests, it's like, it's kind of dope.
Yeah. That's some good perspective. I didn't know Robert Plant was like homeless. And that actually explains a lot about why I'm not that crazy about this song, because I hate homeless people. No, that's not true. This song is very, I've never been a big Ramble On fan, but I do think it deserves the nod over Black Mountain Side. Honestly, it's a little bit of a forgettable track.
Yeah. I don't know why you would steal something like that. Jimmy Page could definitely come up with an acoustic guitar part that's like similar, but not literally stolen. Like, I just don't really get it. Like, he came up with so much original shit that it's not like he couldn't have done it.
Yeah.
It was
Steal
just
something
like,
better.
It was just like, oh, I have this already. I could just play this.
Yeah, that's like a low tier heist.
Yeah.
Yeah. But,
Dude, that's fucking robbing convenience stores in GTA 5.
yeah. You only get like a 2-star bounty after that.
Yeah, dude. Not even a big deal. You got to
2-star wanted level.
But if you kill the cop who
Then it's a
shows
3.
up, then you get the helicopter on you.
Immediate 3.
Next up is Dancing Days against the Rover. Dude, I fucking love the Rover. That's one of my
the Rover's
favorites off Physical Graffiti.
I know to trip is just too far. Yeah, Dancing Days fucking sucks, man. Like, that's another one of those. That's just another one of those Houses of the Holy tracks that, like, I mean, the Crunge didn't make it, but Dancing Days and the Crunge definitely are worthy of skipping.
Yeah.
Whenever I listen
There's
to that
less
album,
redeemable qualities than Jamaica.
yes, Jamaica is probably better than those two.
Like Dancing Days, we were listening to it in the car on the way to fucking REI, right?
Yeah.
And I was just like, by the end of the song, that riff, it's like, it's earworm in a bad way. I'm like, get this out of my, it feels like a fucking bad trip thought loop where I'm like, get this out of my head. Like,
Yeah, it's
fuck.
it's evil. It's actually satanic.
Yeah. Dude, just wait till you hear it backwards. Yeah, no, the Rover walks. It's kind of, I don't know what it is, but there's a couple of these Physical Graffiti songs that to me just feel like a hot summer day, and you've been walking for quite a while, and you're kind of starting to question where you're going.
Well, you know, he's been to London and seen 7 wonders, right?
Yeah.
So, it's kind of, I don't know if England has like good summer days or not, but
No, but they've been places that are hot. I know we're gonna get to Kashmir,
Africa.
but Kashmir was about a long drive through the Middle East, I think. Anyways, fuck this. The Rover moves on. Next matchup is How Many More Times up against For Your Life. How Many More Times might be the best song off Zeppelin 1, and
it's a good one.
it's fucking sweeping For Your Life, but I'll give you the floor.
Yeah, For Your Life is badass because he talks about like holding and squeezing and cooking his lemon, which is definitely just It's just an innuendo for like.
Did you mean to cook it? Cook it. I didn't mean to fry it.
Yeah, it's totally fucked up. For Your Life, that one's rough, man. I don't know. It's just Robert Plant's Bulge. Like when I really put that together, I was like, damn, this is tough, man.
It's For Your Life. His Bulge is For Your Life.
Yeah,
Dude, imagine if
dystopian.
if Robert Plant came and said, I would like to offer you a barter. I would like to barter with you to trade. And he offered you, and he was like, I'll give you this, and fucking like postures his hips forward and puts his bulge out towards you and goes, I'll offer you this for your life.
Yeah, that's suicide inducing.
Yeah, that's bad. Let's just do the next matchup.
Yeah, all right. For Your Life, Exile.
Yeah, it's gone forever.
All
Night
right.
Flight. Some good old Physical Graffiti bloat up against Kashmir. But I will say Night Flight, and I said that about Sick Again, shitting on it, but Sick Again and Night Flight are good. Those two are good.
They're pretty good. They're pretty good.
I don't think that they like should have been cut. Black Country Woman, I think, should have been cut from Physical Graffiti.
Yeah.
But you know,
like an Aunt Jemima.
yeah, but you know, Night Flight is a serviceable Zeppelin song, but I think well, you know, people would be up in arms if we took it over Kashmir, and
Yeah,
really,
I don't think we can
would
really do that.
Yeah, I would be up in arms. Kashmir is great. One of these that I was actually a bit surprised when I started to hear, like talking to people or just dwelling on the internet, like how many people cite it as like one of the best Zeppelin songs. I don't think I really get that, but
Yeah.
it is very good. And it's an epic. It's one of these, 9-minute things, and it's not Stairway to Heaven. So I think it's kind of just like a, kind of trying to be left field, but also pick like a heady selection or something.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm a real rock and roll fan. I listen to Kashmir all the way through, and I don't get bored.
No, Kashmir's good. Kashmir's good. Yeah, kind of like Stairway, You heard it a billion times, so it's a little harder to judge it objectively. But yeah, Kashmir, one of the highlights off of Physical Graffiti for sure. Big fan favorite. Got to give it some love.
And it does make me feel like I'm stranded in the Middle East. I think it was Morocco. They were like on tour and they were driving on this like Moroccan highway or some shit. And it was like blistering sun. It was like 304 degrees Celsius. Mm-hmm. And that was when Robert Plant, I guess, wrote that song. He was just like sweating fucking balls in the back of a bus.
Yeah, it's like...
and that's how it makes me feel.
It's like when Aladdin goes into like the Sphinx's mouth in Aladdin.
Dude.
And then Jafar follows him in and like fucks him or something.
I'll take you on my magic rug. You want to go in me magic rug?
Yeah, and it gets hella spooky.
I'll show you me magic rug.
Do not.
That's going to conclude round one. We're going to take a little intermission and we'll be back.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we are back for the second round of the Led Zeppelin Madness Bracket. First matchup in the upper left quadrant, we've got The Monster, Stairway to Heaven, up against Hey Hey What Can I Do?
Yeah, these matchups are getting a little tougher, but I think Stairway is still probably going to take this matchup. Being what it is, it needs no introduction. If you're watching this video, you probably know Stairway to Heaven, whereas you might not know Hey Hey, What Can I Do? Yeah, nah.
But go check it out if that's the case, man. Great song. Great tune.
It is a really good song. Off of, the later Zeppelin times. So, yeah, Stairway's got to take it.
Yeah, Stairway has to.
It has to.
For a little aside for my guitar nerds, that Stairway to Heaven, the iconic guitar solo, was actually recorded on the Telecaster, the Dragon that Jimmy used primarily on Zeppelin 1 and 2. And you can see photos of their early performances or videos. He's using that Telecaster with the Dragon he painted on it. So by the time they got to Zeppelin 4, Jimmy had switched over to the Les Paul. But he actually was having trouble recording that guitar solo. I guess he had done multiple takes and wasn't quite satisfied. And he just had like some voice in his head calling him to go and grab that Dragon. And he went and busted out the Telecaster, and first take, got the solo that we all hear and that has rated so highly on many greatest guitar solos of all time lists. So you can thank the Dragon for that one. I own that guitar, by the way. Yeah. The exact one he recorded that with.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it. Stood the test of time.
It's cool. It is a replica, but either way.
Yeah, Stairway takes it. Next up, we got Bring It On Back, Bring It On Home.
This isn't the Bob Dylan bracket.
This is not
dude.
the Bob Dylan bracket. We got Bring It On Home versus Good Times, Bad Times.
Yeah, this one's real tight. A couple, Zeppelin classics. I'd say both of these tracks, in their own way, are good, like, introductions to what Zeppelin does. I love both. We got the closer off Zeppelin 2 up against the opener off Zeppelin 1. I'd give it to Good Times, Bad Times, though. It's such a great...
I would as well.
Yeah, it's such a great punchy, it's quick, it's to the point, it's fucking... That's what he does on the guitar solo. And it's just fucking awesome. It's a powerhouse of a track. It really is.
Yeah. It is a powerhouse. And like I said before, we all got good times and we all got bad times. It is one of the more
I've
relatable
had my share.
and down-to-earth Zeppelin songs that aren't about kids. So it's good. But next up, we got 10 Years Gone, a real powerhouse versus Nobody's Fault But Mine.
Yeah, this one's easy now. As far as these second-round matchups, this one's straightforward. 10 Years Gone, it's just so beautiful. The dynamics, the building, the momentum, all of that. And, and a quite sweet song as well. A good one to put on when your lady's in the car with you, or your man, or your non-binary romantic interest.
Yeah, I agree. 10 Years Gone, it's the story of coming back home, the nest of the soul. Sometimes you gotta go, you gotta ramble, but the heart wants what the heart wants, and so 10 Years Gone makes it to our, quarterfinals?
16. Sweet 16.
Oh, yeah, that's the round of 16.
Nobody's Fault But Mine, though. I spoke about it a little bit. Good track, good hard rock song. Kind of highlights that different era. And I think, they did it justice. I'll say this, dude. I'll listen to Nobody's Fault But Mine over 99% of Rush songs.
That's fair.
Does that make me a bad person?
You know.
All right. The verdict is
means
in.
You hate Canada.
All right. So next up, Into the Land of the Ice and Snow up against Why You Call Me Another Guy's Name When I'm Trying to Make Love. Immigrant Song versus Heartbreaker. I'm interested to see where Jason's head's at on this one.
Yeah, I guess kind of in the same vein as... what did I shit on before? The Battle of Evermore? About, like, some of this, Lord of the Rings mythology content that Robert Plant likes to push out there. It's a banger, don't get me wrong. And I like both of those songs. But, man, Heartbreaker is just... it feels a certain way, man. It's like when your girl gives you chlamydia. It's an event. It's a relatable feeling. Heartbreaker, you know, we've all had a broken heart. I've never been an immigrant though. So for that reason, I think Heartbreaker deserves it.
Yeah, I'm all right with it. I think I would lean a little bit toward Immigrant Song. Like I said, I'm reading a book about the Danes invading England, and I'm kind of captivated by that whole, well, whether you want to call it mythology or history, but you know, it kind of blurs the lines on Immigrant Song. But Heartbreaker, just to speak on that, because we're going to move it on. Really great guitar work, I would say, definitive guitar work from Jimmy Page. The solo in particular on the studio version there, you know, people give haters, which imagine being a hater of Jimmy Page, but Jimmy Page detractors will say that he was a sloppy guitarist. And if you listen to the Heartbreaker solo, it is sloppy. But if you can tell me that you don't feel that motherfucking solo, then I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with you. But it kind of really captures that gut-wrenching feeling of just, why'd you call me another guy's name? And, you know, comes in with that little repeated part and then just goes absolutely bonkers. A predecessor to stuff like Eruption and the work of Van Halen, you know, and the real shreddy guitar style wasn't really happening. And sure, it's sloppy, but he was playing at hyper speed for the time. So anyways, we're going to send Heartbreaker on through. Call it sloppy if you want.
Yeah, you know, sometimes the sloppy really breaks your heart, you know.
Sometimes the sloppy warms my heart.
That's fair. Yeah, you know, the duality of sloppy.
The duality of sloppy.
All right. Next up, we got Whole Lotta Love versus Going to California. This is a tricky one.
This is the duality of Zeppelin, for real.
Yeah.
This is, speaking of, you know, duality. I would lean towards going to California. It's one of their most well put together and well executed softer moments. A very heartfelt, what am I trying to say? A very genuine, you know, message, I feel, coming from Robert Plant. I love it. I think it's great. I think it's, like I said, one of their better, softer moments. Whole Lotta Love to me is, it's important, but it ain't the best. If you're looking for heavy Zeppelin, I think there's better tracks.
Yeah, I'd agree. I'm fine with Going to California, taking it. I do like how Whole Lotta Love, the guitar riff kind of sounds like a plane crashing. Yeah, it is just burnt into my brain listening to a Whole Lotta Love and my brain melting. But yeah, I mean, Going to California, it's a sweet song. I think there's a little more going on lyrically. It's like a race car. But all right. Yeah, that sounds good.
Let's go for that.
We got Rock and Roll versus Since I've Been Lovin' You next. Now, this one's pretty close for me. I think both of them are good. I think Since I've Been Lovin' You's got a little more going on. It's definitely got more going on. It's got the 7 till 11 every night.
Kind of make me laugh and drag.
Yeah, so Since I've Been Loving You,
I'm just laughing because I already moved it through in the bracket. Because you're saying it's close. I'm like, well.
I think it's pretty close. But yeah, I mean, Rock and Roll, like it's probably the second best song called Rock and Roll. So
yeah, I might like it.
Can you really say it's better than Since I've Been Loving You?
I might like it more than the Velvet Undergrounds.
Yeah, but you're not the Lou Reed guy that I am. You're not like as into, you know. I
prefer what's the one off Velvet Underground about the hooker?
Oh, Sister Ray?
Yeah, and
what's the other?
No, is it on White Light?
Yeah,
the one
well-
about the dude in the box. What's that
Oh,
one?
The Gift.
Yeah, I'm more of a Gift guy myself.
Yeah, all right. That's fine.
That's awesome.
I'm a big Lady Godiva's Operation kind of guy. I really like the trans allyship, the
I'm into that. I can respect that.
the lobotomizing of mentally ill people.
Let's go for that.
Let's go for that. Since I've Been Loving You takes it.
Since I've Been Loving You is going to go through. To me, it's when we talk about these quintessential, like, Zeppelin doing what they do best, I think Since I've Been Loving You is a great example of that. And yeah, Rock and Roll's a great tune. It's one that I would love to see him play live. And like we had talked about with Good Times, Bad Times, and how it's like just straight to the point and like just a really good 3 minutes of fucking rock and roll. Mm-hmm. It lives up to its namesake, but it's just not quite got the magnitude of Since I've Been Loving You, I think.
Yeah. Yes.
It's like 3 minutes of banging versus 7 minutes of banging. It's like, I mean, come on.
But it's that slow, sensual banging.
There's more time for...
It's that passionate.
I'm a smooth operator.
Are you now?
All right. This one, next up, we got Achilles' Last Stand up against Your Time Is Gonna Come. We were just talking about Your Time Is Gonna Come in our little intermission because I was like, oh, it would be nice to see it move on, but really, it's good that it goes up against Achilles' Last Stand now because it makes it easy to say goodbye to it because Achilles' Last Stand has to walk through here. It's just, it's an epic. It's an epic. And when you talk about the lyricism that can sometimes be a little corny, I think it's absolutely nailed on Achilles' Last Stand of this like battle cry. Like, I don't even know where they come up with these fucking scenarios, but like it really, with the drums, marching you forward and the driving really, amped up and fast guitar riffage, it really does feel like you're walking into battle. You're walking into the shield wall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Achilles' Last Stand reminds me a lot of the time I tore my Achilles tendon. So
Tragic.
it's really got a lot of personal sway with me because one time I did stand on my Achilles for the last time.
But not the last time ever.
No, not the last time ever.
Back.
Just the last time until, it healed itself, which was pretty cool. The human body does crazy things. But, yeah, Achilles' Last Stand takes it. It's a good instance of Robert Plant making cool noises instead of just annoying noises.
Yeah. Actually adding to the song.
Yeah.
And not making you wonder what the fuck he's doing there.
Yes.
Like, damn, they couldn't have told him to go fucking sit outside for a sec.
Yeah, really.
But let's not let this moment take away from on Achilles' Last Stand. Truly great vocal additions from Robert Plant there. Mm-hmm. And next up, a couple of blues epics. In My Time of Dying and Dazed and Confused, really two of these long, extended, heavy blues situations. I don't know. I think Dazed and Confused may be held in a little higher regard as far as its acclaim and recognizability.
Recognition?
Recognizability?
Recognizability.
Reconnaissance? Yeah, Dazed and Confused is doing reconnaissance in France, trying to see what they're up to over there, if the revolution's going well.
It wasn't.
Fuck. I don't know. What do you think about this matchup here? Dazed and Confused is stolen, let's remember.
Yeah, and it's also the name of a movie.
One of my favorite movies, by the way.
So, but I might give it to In My Time of Dying, man. It's a tough one. They're both really good. They both definitely scratch the itch. I don't know.
Yeah, I would have to lean towards Dazed and Confused, but I'm not gonna throw a temper tantrum about it going. And
Well, then let's go for that.
let's go for In My Time of Dying. Let the haters
you?
hate. Oh, did you mean Dazed and Confused?
I meant Dazed and Confused.
Okay, good. I feel better about that. Let's edit that out. I wanted Dazed and Confused to move on.
Yeah, no, I think they're very even. Dazed and Confused, though, it is culturally and probably, like, when you think of Zeppelin, it's the bigger song for sure. So,
And I mean, if they were willing to dedicate 30 minutes of stage time to playing it in their live shows, then it must mean something to them.
yeah. I just think about, like, you know, you could be dazed and confused, or you could be dying.
Yeah.
Like, what, you know.
Well, if you're in the wrong scenario and you're dazed and confused, you might also be dying.
Yeah, like inebriated driving.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah, get your shit together. Killer whales!
All right. Next up, we got When the Levee Breaks and What Is and What Should Never Be.
Yeah. Wonder what he's talking about, man.
Probably 13-year-olds.
Probably, which should never be.
Yeah. You know they exist, but they should never be.
In Robert Plant's proximity.
Yeah. Yeah, I think When the Levee Breaks,
Levy.
absolute banger, hood classic, one of the best tracks off of 4, a little bit stronger than What Is and What Should Never Be.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, those, really, the drum sound fucking goes crazy. And I heard...
Didn't they record it in like a hallway or something?
What I heard is that... So that's at Headley Grange, which is... They recorded 3 there, too, but nobody cares about that. And then they recorded 4 at Headley Grange and Physical Graffiti. They went back to Headley Grange. But I think what they did was they had a room where they were recording the drums, and then they put a bunch of mics, they mic'd the drums and had mics in the room as well. And then they put like a series of mics in the hallway and just had the door open. So that huge sound that you're hearing is actually like the drums going down the hall.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool. And it definitely sounds fucking killer. So if you're a drummer and you have a hallway, fuck around with it.
Yeah. You might just make the levee break.
And Communication Breakdown up against No Quarter in the next matchup.
Yeah, I think this one's pretty easy, actually.
Yeah, Communication Breakdown for sure.
No. Yeah, I knew you were kidding. No Quarter, I think, should take it.
Takes it.
It's got that cool distant effect on it. Whatever the fuck they do, it sounds good. It's edgy. Communication Breakdown's kind of just like, rock and roll tune.
Yeah.
But No Quarter, I think, has like a little bit more of like the depth of instrumentation. It takes you somewhere.
Yeah.
It takes you somewhere.
I'll
You're
say-
like underwater or some bullshit.
Yeah. It's more of that good, like, wartime imagery in the lyrics as well that I like a lot. And then just to touch on the live performance here, like, the song remains the same version. To me, the synergy between John Bonham and Jimmy Page during the guitar solo is like, that is the exemplification of what makes Zeppelin just the greatest rock band of all time. Because the way that they sync up, they're like reading each other's minds, and they're both playing as well as you could. You can't imagine it going any better. And to think that that's live and they never played the shit the same twice, it's just crazy. But we'll take No Quarter, and we'll move on to the next matchup where we have Over the High School and Far Away versus Tangerine.
So here we got, Over the Hills off of, Houses of the Holy, and another Citrus song off of Zeppelin 3. This one's pretty close. This one's pretty
This
close.
one is pretty tight.
But I think, disregarding the high school, Over the Hills is probably what I would go for. Tangerine is nice. It's kind of like a, love song. Citrus with the, alluding to sexual acts and sexual organs, I guess. Very metaphor for the Zeppelin catalog.
The thing about a tangerine, it's not quite sweet, but it's not so sour either.
I don't know. Tangerines are pretty sweet.
All right, whatever. We'll edit that out. Yeah, I mean, I could go either way. I think Over the Hills is the more Zeppelin-y song. I think it's also the more classic rock radio song, but I'll put my bias aside, and we can take Over the Hills in this matchup. But personally, I'm probably putting Tangerine on a playlist over the Hills personally. But I can make small concessions. So
I like them both, man.
It's cool.
Both.
We'll send through Over the Hills. And
next up, we got a pretty easy one.
Yeah, we got The Ocean against Bronyar Stomp. Cute little acoustic jam, but The Ocean is fucking awesome. It's an awesome closer. It's an awesome, like I said, the riff, the vocals, the outro is really the perfect close to an album. I think it's exceptional. Can't say enough good things about it.
Yeah, The Ocean's powerful, man. The Ocean, great riff, great imagery. Good tune, man. The Ocean takes it.
They say, if you ever doubt that there is a power greater than yourself, go out to the ocean and look at those waves crashing down and try to think how you'd stop them. Well, I say, if you're ever doubting that there's a power greater than yourself, listen to the ocean and think, could I do that? Mm-hmm. Zeppelin is the power greater than yourself. How about that?
That is fair. The waves crashing on the shore, they've been there long before you, and they will outlive you.
By millennia.
Just like how the ocean has outlived John Bonham.
Dude, do not say his name in vain.
I'm just saying, the ocean is it's a very powerful thing.
Next up is
a lot of critters in there.
Yeah, there are some dwellers. Mm-hmm. These are a couple of personal favorites for me, In the Light and Fool in the Rain. But it's a straightforward matchup for me. I got Fool in the Rain. Very sweet song, kind of a nostalgic song for me. Again, kind of reminds me of that minivan my mom had. But now listening to it as a refined older gentleman, Fool in the Rain, man, it's awesome. You got that instrumental break with the weird, like, whatever you call it. I don't know if it's European or South American, but there's some kind of swing going on there. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. It's something you could dance to if that's your thing. But I just like to listen to the drums and think, why the fuck did John Bonham have to die, man?
Mm-hmm. I like Fool in the Rain, too. Fool in the Rain is good. I've waited too long on the wrong blonde in my life, and I have been in the rain, and I would also consider myself a real fool sometimes. So, I think it's actually about me in a lot of ways.
Damn, dude, you in the mythical tale of the cool guy and the fool guy, you choosing the fool guy?
I have my moments. I've been the cool guy once or twice.
You get your money up, not your funny up.
Brother, please. All right.
Fool in the Rain moves on.
Next up, we got a tough one, but I don't think it's actually that tough. The song remains the same versus the Rain song. Two songs about songs.
Yeah. And this is track 1 and 2 off of Houses of the Holy. And the Rain song, man.
The Rain song.
People forget.
Listen, man. People forget. Rain is a thing, man. It's raining today, man.
It is a rainy day. We got ourselves a nice little rainy day here today. Sunny California, not so sunny. But yeah, the rain song's fucking awesome. We talked about it I think we gave it its respects. But yeah, really that build at the end, and it's just a beautiful, soft moment, and then they take you into a real Zeppelin climax at the end. And yeah, you felt the coldness of my winter.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
It's Shakespearean.
Mm-hmm. It's Orwellian,
Dude,
as well.
no, dude.
It's like the Rats, man.
Dude.
All right, next up we got Ramble On and The Rover.
Yeah, I might just take the fucking Rover.
I don't know. Even though I'm not a big Ramble On guy, I do think Ramble On should probably take it in this one.
I'm fine with it, but I really like the Rover. The only
I like
reason
the Rover,
the only
too.
reason I'll concede Ramble On is because of how much it means to Robert Plant. So I'll do him a solid because I'm still, I'm waiting to hear back from his team, but we have reached out for the Robert Plant interview, and maybe pushing on Ramble On will put us in his good graces.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
I think so.
Let's go for that.
Yeah, let's go for that.
Next up, this is going to be easy for me, but two good songs. But How Many More Times up against Kashmir. I give it to the closer off the debut, man. How Many More Times is fucking awesome. That psychedelic blues rock. Some great guitar work from Jimmy, and sets himself apart, I think.
Yeah, How Many More Times? Underrated track. I think, Kashmir should take it, but I don't mind How Many More Times going through. Kashmir, it's cool, man. I don't own any Kashmir. I don't think so. It doesn't feel the same to me as I suppose like a Middle Eastern man would feel riding on like a camel or something.
I prefer Kashmir Thoughts by Jay-Z.
Yeah, that's spelled with a C also.
Yeah,
So,
I think that's how it's actually spelled, no?
yeah, I think so. It's also ERE, is it not?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, super Middle Eastern. I've never been to like Pakistan or like Afghanistan or something. So I think Kashmir just like misses. It doesn't hit the nail on the head with a guy like me.
Because I
So-
walk like a pimp and talk like a Mac. fuck
So
it.
how many more times? We can
Yeah.
give it to it.
Excellent Zeppelin track.
And before we go on to the next round, we're going to take another bathroom break.
All right.
Because this bubbly water is, it's really doing something to me
It's
right
moving through our boy, so we'll be right back.
now. All right.
All right, we're back with the Sweet 16, something that Robert Plant knows a lot about.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, and the bladder is empty again, so thank goodness.
Dude,
I wasn't going to make it.
that's enough out of you. I don't like these matchups anymore. This is where it's going to get really hard. We're going to see some classics leaving the chat, but that's the name of the game. It's the nature of the beast. So
They're going down swinging. It's not for lack of effort that some of these get booted.
right. So for the first matchup, we have Stairway to Heaven up against Good Times, Bad Times. I'm just going to say I like Good Times, Bad Times more. But I think Stairway is the more essential track, probably.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. I do probably like Good Times, Bad Times more.
Well, if we both agree, then we have to send it through.
Yeah, we can put Good Times, Bad Times through. Get fucked.
Yeah. Fuck your top 5 list, bro. I'm smoking on your top 5 tonight.
Yeah, Stairway's gone. That's legendary.
All right, cool. We really made our stamp on the Zeppelin community with that one.
Yeah. Fucking roasted. Next up, we got 10 Years Gone versus Heartbreaker. This one, I got an opinion.
All right, let her rip.
It's 10 Years Gone.
It is 10 years gone. 10 years gone. Yo, like when people talk about fucking, you know, not my stairway to heaven, you know? 10 years gone is my stairway to heaven.
Yeah, the more I've been listening to it lately, the more I've realized 10 Years Gone is honestly a masterpiece.
It is.
So, beats Heartbreaker.
Heartbreaker's great. Heartbreaker, I think, falls more into that early Zeppelin, hard rock, knock your fucking socks off riffage, and just high octane, fucking thrilling, on the seat of your chair, on the seat of your, grab you by the pants
Edge
of
of your
your
seat.
grab you by the pants of your fire. Yeah, just combine every saying ever. But no, I mean Heartbreaker is awesome, but 10 Years Gone, I think, demonstrates the versatility, the depth, the really the, not the genre blending, but the shifting of moods and the
It's a mature Zeppelin.
it's mature Zeppelin. You know,
Yeah.
it's got more range. That's the words I'm looking for. So let's go for that.
Yes.
Next matchup, we've got Going to California versus Since I've Been Loving You. This is tight as hell for me. Going to California, like I've said, one of the best soft moments in the catalog. I will have to give it to Since I've Been Loving You. As I've said, I think it's kind of puts a cap on that early Zeppelin era and says, this is what we've been doing, and this is the best we can do it as this extended blues jam. You know, it's awesome. It's great. It's going through for me.
I agree. Going to California is cool. I'm not crazy about what is it, the bridge on Going to California, the
Where is that confounded bridge? We're not.
What is
that's from the Crunch?
Yeah, that's
we,
the
we don't. We
Crunch.
don't have to talk about that.
yeah, but yeah, Since I've Been Loving You, I think more exemplary of the Led Zeppelin catalog. Really hard blues, wailing vocals, 777, 211, fucking Robert Plant's doing some crazy mathematics.
7 to 11 every night is really not a shift to be complaining so much about. Like,
No, not really. Unless it's 7 a.m. to 11 p.m.
then that's like illegal. That's inhumane.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, that's only 8 hours off. That's a 16-hour shift.
Yeah. So I don't think that's legal. I'm assuming he's saying 7 p.m. to 11 p.m., which at that point it's like, dude, you got all day to
Just
do
eat an
whatever
early
you want.
dinner.
Yeah, fuck. But no, shout out to our service workers. You know, I'm sure a 4-hour night shift at a busy restaurant will take its toll on you. But
Yeah.
but just don't come bitching about it.
yeah. We're not gonna hear it.
Next up, Achilles' Last Stand versus Dazed and Confused. This is the end of the theft. This is where Dazed and Confused will find the outdoor, let's say.
Yeah, Achilles' Last Stand should take this. It's epic, man.
It is. It's fucking awesome. It's you know what it is? It's badass, dude.
Yeah.
I mean,
all right.
it really feels like this song being on Presence. It makes it feel like a return to form. It's just like Zeppelin one-upping themselves and just being like, I know we're kind of fucking around right now, but we can still do this. We can still impress ourselves. And some of the drum work in particular, I think it might be the best drum track that John Bonham ever laid down. And can't complain about anybody's performance, though. It's a great, epic banger.
Epic.
Tough one up next, though. What do you think about The Levee against No Quarter?
Personally, I would take When the Levee Breaks. But that's because I don't value the live performance quite as much, I think. I do think the live performance is better, but does it make it better than When the Levee Breaks? What a lot of people consider to be the second best song off of the legendary Zeppelin 4. Man, have you ever seen a levee break?
No, but I will say, No Quarter, I have a troubling relationship with this. The version that's on The Song Remains the Same, the version that is available for streaming, I found out because I purchased a vinyl copy of The Song Remains the Same, the live album, and the solo is different. And so I did some research and I found out that the remaster, which is available for streaming, is actually a patchwork guitar solo. He took solos from like multiple shows and stitched them together. And I was under the impression that that was the greatest guitar solo ever recorded. So to find out that it's patchwork actually kind of broke my heart. For that reason, with that knowledge in mind, I'm willing to let go of No Quarter as When the Levee Breaks. If we're comparing the studio tracks, the Levee, I prefer the production. I prefer the finished product. Sounds better. Although I think that they're comparable songs as far as, you know, structurally and instrumentation and all that stuff, lyrics. I'd say they're comparable, but I don't love the production and the whole underwater sounding thing going on No Quarter. I prefer the drums breaking my neck on When the Levee Breaks. So we'll go ahead and send it through.
You gotta protect your neck. Yeah.
And next off,
We got two more from Houses of the Holy.
Yep. Over the Hills and Far Away Up Against the Ocean.
This is where Over the High School meets its end. I think the ocean is a little more badass, man.
It is.
That's a pretty easy one.
I think that's easy. I think the ocean is great. The more I listen to it, the more I think that could be the song off of Houses of the Holy. But we're going to talk about another one that could be the song off of Houses of the Holy. So I don't know. For me, that is an easy one. The Ocean Goes On. It's classic Zeppelin. And I will say, as far as like accessibility, The Ocean is one of these songs that you could put on anywhere. You could put it on for a casual. You could put it on for like a hardcore fucking prog rock weirdo. I don't think anyone's going to have any problems. I think every walk of life will be impressed by this.
You could put it on at a funeral.
That might be a tough one.
You could, though.
You could do it. Yeah.
All right. Next up, well, we got. Before we had two songs with song in the title, and now we've got two songs with rain in the title. Fool in the Rain versus the Rain Song.
Yeah, so this is tough. These both could move on in other matchups, I think.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Well, I like The Fool in the Rain more than you.
Yeah, I know that.
I'm willing to kiss it goodbye as I acknowledge what the Rain Song brings to the table is pretty special. But I just want to pay my respects to Fool in the Rain. Great tune. You know, it carries on In Through the Outdoor, which I'm still not sure if that album title is an innuendo for gay sex, but I think it's homophobic.
Yeah.
So let's just move on, I guess.
I think so. Okay. Next up, we got Ramble On versus How Many More Times.
This shit's easy. How many more times clears here for me? There's more there, and I think it's epic. It's Zeppelin, early Zeppelin, doing what they do best. We've talked about the synergy between the instrumentalists, but yeah, that bass line carrying you through the whole song, these psychedelic, you know, excursions of the guitar that lead you back to these main couple of riffs, and then the drums going bonkers the whole time. Bonkers by Bonzo. But yeah, I would take How Many More Times here.
Okay. Okay. I'm fine with that. Although I will say I was just looking. I think it is kind of weird that we have no Zeppelin 2 representation in the quarterfinals.
What would be the song? You know, that's the thing. It's that album is really, I think, what carries it is its consistency, but it does kind of lack a standout, you know.
Yeah, I suppose so. I think yeah, what would be the song? I don't know.
I think it could be Bring It On Home, but Bring It On Home got a tough one early on.
No, I don't think it would have been Bring It On Home. Yeah, no, I think that is true. How many more times can take it? I like How Many More Times. That's slept on. That's the brother to bet on.
Ooh wee. We got tough ones here.
Yeah,
It's
the semis, not
all,
the quarters.
It's all absolutely fucked now. So none of these are going to be easy outs. These are all kind of monster matchups
We
here.
might have to fight on every single one of these 4 matchups, but maybe not. First up, we got Good Times, Bad Times versus 10 Years Gone.
Yeah, I think we can give it to 10 Years Gone here. Good Times, Bad Times does its job and does it perfectly well. But I think there's a little more going on with 10 Years Gone.
I agree. I like 10 Years Gone more. Good Times, Bad Times, good fun track. 10 Years Gone makes me feel something.
Yeah.
Makes me feel some sort of way when the eagle breaks his beak and preens its feathers and whatever.
I listen to Good Times, Bad Times more. It's a very digestible track, and it does, like, you know, it'll wake you up, you know. It's a good one to listen to just to bring some energy into your life. But I feel more rewarded when I do listen to 10 Years Gone. And certainly when 10 Years Gone comes on, when I'm listening to Physical Graffiti as an album, I'm like, oh yeah, this is it. You know, which it's a long album, so those rewarding moments are important.
Yes. You got to have rewards in life.
This one, I'm just going to say, we have Since I've Been Loving You up against Achilles' Last Stand. There's a world where these both make the finals for me. So this is a tough one.
Yeah, this is a tough one. I would personally probably go with Since I've Been Loving You.
Yeah, I would go with Achilles.
Yeah, I knew you would go with Achilles.
But it's close. It's tight. This is where I wish we had a tiebreaker. But I don't know. We might just have to exchange favors.
Yeah, you want to exchange favors?
I think we'll have a favor later on that I can pay you back with.
Okay.
If you're okay with Achilles, I'll owe you the next concession.
I'm okay with Achilles. Yeah.
All right, let's go for that.
I mean, the other one shouldn't be a concession. You should just think the same way because I'm right about the other one.
Yeah, I know. I know that's how you feel. But yeah, I mean, Since I've Been Loving You, really just to pay its respects. I mean, that's one that I don't think I quite appreciated as much as I do now early on. But I really could see that in a certain arrangement of the bracket, like pushing on towards the finals. Really fucking awesome, like an emotional one, but also just the instrumental, the technical ability of everyone involved, and kind of this movement that the track has, where it leads you on and it builds you up, and then it releases and brings you back down to the ground. But really a lot going on there, and a fucking masterclass in blues rock. This is an example where I'll say, here, talking about Zeppelin's, yeah, technically speaking, music is subjective and they're my favorite band. But realistically, they're actually the greatest band of all time, and I'm just correct in my assessment of that. And my enjoyment is justified by the facts of reality. So, Since I've Been Loving You is a song that would be, you take any of the other bands that are in Zeppelin's realm of like heavy blues, whatever, Since I've Been Loving You could be their best song. Easily could sweep a lot of bands' brackets, you know. Sure, once we start talking about other all-time great bands, there's other songs that can stack up. But really, I mean, just a masterclass in hard blues rock. But
Amen.
But it gets fucked by Achilles' Last Stand.
Yeah, you know, now that I actually think about it a little more, Since I've Been Loving You, maybe I wouldn't take. I think lyrically it does kind of fall into the Robert Plant trope isms a little bit too hard, perhaps.
Yeah.
You know, it's great. Sonically, it sounds awesome. But, you know, it's another one of those... It's another one of those instances of Robert just like, and you know he's making this shit up. Like, he's not. You seen that bulge? You know, he is one that is not having any troubles in the woman department. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I've seen the bulge. No, but
It's a very human bulge.
yeah, it's pretty normal. It's cool. I mean, the tight pants sells it.
Yeah.
The
Well,
tight
he
pants.
like obviously places it on his leg. Like when he
Yeah.
puts those pants on, he picks up his junk and puts it on his leg.
That's what you got to do. Keeps your leg warm.
Yeah. Anyways, we'll take Achilles into the semifinals.
Yeah,
And
more ambitious.
moving on with When the Levee Breaks up against The Ocean. Are we going to butt heads again? I think The Ocean takes it.
I was gonna also say the ocean.
Right on. I love when that happens.
Yeah. I mean, When the Levee Breaks, great song, but the ocean, I just think, means more to me. You know, she's only 3 years old. She's only 3 years old. It's the first time in Zeppelin's history where a girl is too young for them, you know?
Yeah. It's a shame they had to be 3, you know. You thought they could have drawn the line somewhere else, but
Yeah.
that's where the line is. Really, it's funny that there's this gap from like 3 to 15 where girls just stop existing to Led Zeppelin. It's like you're a baby
Yeah,
and then
except-
you're 15 and you're fuckable or something.
Except 13 is really where the line is drawn.
Oh,
if we,
it's just bad territory to be even talking about.
yeah, you know. Thank you, James Page.
But When the Levee Breaks, obviously, iconic drum performance, iconic song, certified hood banger. But I do think The Ocean just brings a little bit more. And that outro is just so goddamn rewarding that I got to give it to it. And excellent, excellent performances. Probably the best bass playing from John Paul Jones in their discography, in my opinion. Great song. Got to move on. Here we are. I'm glad you changed your mind at the end because I don't owe you a favor anymore.
You really gonna say how many more times Over the Rain song?
Yeah.
That's fucked up, man. That's not okay. I'll stand by the Rain song. I do think that I don't know. I feel the Rain song a little more. You know, it's more emotional. I think it is more experimental for what Led Zeppelin is known for. I think they were taking more of a step outside of their comfort zone with the Rain song, and I think they hit a real dinger.
Yeah, I agree with all that. I think also, though, I mean, comparing the songs for what they are, you know, I think it's like, yeah, they're being more adventurous compared to the sound they're known for, but that's like doing what they known for and doing it the best versus showing that they can go in other directions and still knock it out of the park, like you said. I mean, I think it's really close, to be fair. I do think the Rain song stands out maybe as a little more singular, but also I think that How Many More Times, to me, is the best song off Zeppelin 1, which is my favorite Zeppelin album to listen to. And I think that that's just, to me, it's one of the best examples of who Led Zeppelin is and what they can do and what made them special in the first place.
That's fair. That's fair.
And we don't have another song. We're going to have 2 songs from Houses of the Holy up against each other if we send in the Rain song.
I'm very okay with that. Because they're meeting in the semis, so we would only have one in the finals. But I do think the Rain song is, in concept, a much more thoughtful, lyrical composition. I don't think How Many More Times, like, instrumentally.
Oh, lyrically, it doesn't matter.
Like, lyrically, it doesn't. Yeah, it's a
But
little
that
bit of.
also is what Led Zeppelin's all about. That goes to show. It goes to show. Led Zeppelin proved that you don't need lyrics to be the greatest rock and roll band of all time. You can steal lyrics from blues players.
That's fair. That is fair.
I think they only stole 1 verse off How Many More Times. It's an entirely original instrumental, which is what matters anyways.
Only 1 verse.
They just borrowed 1 verse. We can give it to the Rain song. I'll give you this one.
Yeah,
I'll give you this one. Just for the sake of time. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I was not
Stubborn
I was
fuck.
not conceding that one.
All right. So now we have 10 Years Gone up against Achilles' Last Stand. You owe me one. Achilles wins for me.
I owe you one? I mean, personally, I would take 10 Years Gone, but I will give you Achilles.
I think it's going back to like the previous discussion in that matchup, like I do think, they're both great examples of what Zeppelin can do. 10 Years Gone shows you more of the range, and Achilles shows you more of just this extended hard rock, like relentless playing from everybody, relentless riffage.
It's more skillful.
Relentless technical drumming.
Yeah.
Like it's just almost like a display, like just this masterclass of hard rocking. And I do think that it's Zeppelin at their best. It was like not necessarily a return to form, but it found itself on an album where they were kind of losing their way creatively, and it was this singular piece that kind of tied it all together and made it. I mean, fuck, dude. The only reason I own Presence on vinyl is so I can listen to Achilles' Last Stand. Like, this is worth having the fucking album just to listen to that song.
Yeah.
So for me, it takes
true.
it.
It's the only reason why I would listen to Presence.
Yeah. But 10 Years Gone is this, on the other hand, great example of their range as a band, their ability to conjure emotions and take you on a ride from soft to hard.
Soft to hard. That's every day for me.
Yeah. But Achilles' Last Stand is erect all the time.
It
doesn't
is.
have to go from soft to hard. So we're going to send it through for the Blue Chew sponsorship.
All right. Yes. Let's go for that.
And now we got, I think the two best songs off of Houses of the Holy. And as we've said, that album is kind of characterized by these high highs and low lows. So it does make sense that there's 2 standout tracks on it that have pressed on to the semifinals. The Ocean against the Rain song. The rewarding climactic closer up against the building, the emotional, the release.
The cathartic ejaculation.
Really, both of these songs are climactic in and of themselves.
Yeah, well, it's Zeppelin, man. That's they're all about the climax.
I'm coming everywhere.
Yeah, we can cut that.
Never.
All right. Well, as a water sign, personally, I think I'm particularly well poised to discuss The
Yeah.
ocean and the rain song.
It's both of them, yeah. I think I'm an air sign.
What are you, an Aquarius?
Yeah.
What is an Aquarius?
The air.
Okay.
I don't know anything about it, dude.
Yeah. All right, but well,
You're qualified to speak on these water songs, so
Yeah.
what's the verdict?
you know, me being someone who was going to take 10 Years Gone over Achilles' Last Stand in the previous matchup, I think the rain song is more similar to 10 Years Gone, and the ocean is a little more similar to Achilles. And, we've come to two similarly stacked up matchups. And, I'm gonna go with being the fan of the range and motion of the song once again, and cast my vote for the rain song.
Yeah. I would personally, I listen to the ocean more. The ocean's one of those like standalone tracks that I will, sometimes I just need to hear it. Like it's one of those for me. The riff gets me going, and then the climactic outro, as I've said that 1,000 times now. But I see the rain song as it could be like the emotional centerpiece of that album, and I think that it has a large amount of movement, and the emotion carries it. I'm willing to let it go through, and I do think probably it is a more no, I don't think it's a more impressive feat. I was going to say that.
No.
But I do think that it scratches an itch.
Yeah, I think the ocean is incredibly impressive.
Yeah. That it might be a more like technical performances. The musicianship might be better on the ocean, but the rain song does something. It does something. We might have to listen to it after this. To be honest,
I think the rain song, just considering where it starts, where it ends, I think it's a better written song than
composition.
The ocean. Yes. So
We'll send it through, and that takes us to what I think is a perfect display of the Zeppelin dichotomy, where we have Achilles' Last Stand, relentless hard rock banger, riffage up the ass, around the corner, through your tube and out your boob, and the rain song, on the other hand, very soft, very subdued opening, sensuous even.
Mm-hmm. But it builds into something powerful.
Builds into a big
imagery,
tall, throbbing monster.
Heinous.
Achilles' Last Stand is the best Zeppelin song, in my opinion. And I could have told you that without doing this whole bracket, but that wouldn't be fun for anyone.
Yeah, and I sit here saying it's the rain song.
So, we either sit here and fight, or we just say that that's how it is. We've come this far together, and now you, the listener, can decide what the best Zeppelin song is, because it's either Achilles' Last Stand or the rain song.
Mm-hmm. And just for the record, Stairway to Heaven is a between 32 and 16th best Zeppelin song according to this objective bracket. But
If we did,
as the bigger Zeppelin fan, I would concede Achilles' Last Stand to you, if for the sake of finality, but I will still stand on the rain song.
all right, and I wasn't gonna fight to the death, but I was gonna just move it down sneakily. We have Achilles' Last Stand as the winner here, the official winner. But some people do say that music is subjective. We've shown you that here today. We're both usually objectively right and agree often, but we do have disagreements. Preference comes into play.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes we have bad takes.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes we do, When I get signed, homie, I'm gonna act a fool.
That is the one.
No, but I think this has been good. Real quick, let's go through the second round exits and see if any of them are better than Stairway. Because Stairway might actually be number 17 based on this bracket. I don't think there's another second round exit that's better. Or but it did make it to the Sweet 16.
Oh wait, yeah, it made it to 16.
Okay.
Okay, so it's a top 16.
It could beat Heartbreaker. It could beat Ramble On.
I think it beats California.
I disagree, but it beats Over the Hills.
Um,
So yeah, I mean, Stairway is probably in that like 10 to 13 range.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, I would probably put it at like, I think it's probably the strongest out of that group.
Yeah.
But
Well,
that's just me,
anyways, Stairway to Heaven's somewhere between the 9th and 40th best Zeppelin song.
Yeah, yeah. So now you can tell all your friends that think Stairway to Heaven is like the greatest rock song of all time. You can be like, dude, these fucking idiots on YouTube decided that it wasn't. So like, you're a total pussy.
Yeah. The fucking jury's out or in.
Mm-hmm.
It's in. It's in,
It's
right?
in. Yeah,
Oh, it's fucking in, all right.
yeah. The jury was out, but now it's in.
Yeah. We took it out and then put it back in.
A lot like, yeah, nah, yeah, nah.
Oh, that's enough. If you have tolerated all of our high-pitched wailing and impressions of riffs and Robert Plant moaning, just be grateful that I didn't do John Bonham drum impersonations, because I could do that too, and that's just as bad or worse. Boom, boom, boom. Dude, you know the part where he goes boom, ba-dum, brum, ba-ba-da, boom, ba-dum.
Yeah, that sucks, man. But yeah,
Ba-da-da-da-da-da.
if you've stuck with us, that really says a lot about your resilience, your dedication to music,
Perseverance, really.
and we thank you from the bottoms of our hearts.
And this is this is a wrap for Led Zeppelin. Again, if you have listened thus far, if you've listened to our other episodes, feel free to leave a comment. Let us know who you would like to see. In order to qualify, you got to have 64 songs. Once we get through the artists that have, the catalog that really warrants a 64-song bracket, we could start getting into, other styles, whether it's a 32-song bracket or tier list or just a broader discussion. There's other workarounds. It doesn't all have to fit a 64-song bracket, but so far the model is working. So, I've got a couple in mind potentially for the future.
I've got a few that I know we can do.
But I think this is a wrap for Led Zeppelin, and tell a friend to tell a friend.
All right. Thank you.
Enjoy.